Hey guys! So this episode is going to be about Girl Meets World's attempt at making an episode all about Asperger's syndrome. So first and foremost, I wanted to applaud and thank the crew and the writers and directors of Girl Meets World for attempting such a topic, particularly in a kids show, particularly in a sitcom. That being said, I had a lot of problems with this episode. I loved the fact that by the end, everyone was, a little bit accepting of it, and that, as it turned out, the main character, Farle, did not have Asperger's, and the reason that I loved that was that I never ever thought he did, and I'm the kind of person who I watch a movie, and I go, that character has Asperger's. That character has autism. I did it with Jurassic World. I did it with Home. I've done it with so many movies and so many things. And so for me to look at a character and say point blank, that character is not on the spectrum, I was glad that they didn't try to force him onto the spectrum. That being said, there are a lot of things in that episode that were very wrong. Starting with the fact that because the character had a high IQ, he started being tested for other problems. That's not how life works. Just because someone's smart doesn't mean they're on the spectrum. They have to be exhibiting symptoms or signs or something in order to merit testing. You are not just considered autistic because you're smart. It's so far out there. And I felt it was a silly way to start this whole episode. From there, the school psychologist tells the character Farle that he might have autism. He goes and tells his friends. He has one interview, and they're going to know whether or not he has autism. Wrong. So for my testing, and I can only say this for myself, I had to go to a developmental psychology place. I had to meet with a neuropsychologist twice. For younger children, they actually do more. They talk to the teachers. They talk to some family members. For me, they just spoke with my mother, and obviously myself, and we did the testing. But for younger children, they go and chat with the teachers and all that as well. A school psychologist is not qualified to give a test for autism spectrum disorder. It doesn't happen. As I said, I had to go to a special developmental psychology building where I met with a neuropsychologist. That's how you get diagnosed. I had grueling neuropsychological testing. Everything from word associations to having to remember a drawing and redraw that drawing from memory. To pattern making, tons of things. Things that I still don't know why I did. Things that I don't understand why were on the test in the first place that I had to do. And so certainly not one short interview with a school psychologist. It doesn't happen. The next thing that really bothered me was the way that Farle's friends reacted when they found out that he might be on the autism spectrum. Because they were acting like he had a deadly disease. Autism, for me, has always been a superpower. Sure, it made me different, and I'm tearing up here. It made me different. It made me not fit in. But it made me me. And for these kids to be, and I know it was scripted, but jumping up, no, you don't, you're going to change that. That's not, no, you don't. You don't change that. That's what Autism Speaks is trying to do. They're trying to change us. That's what ABA is trying to do. It's trying to change us. It's trying to cure us. We don't need a cure. Do we need support? Sure. But we don't need a cure. We're us. We're special. And that's okay. But the way that people were reacting in this episode was like Farle was gonna die. It was awful. It was like they were saying, well, if he's diagnosed with autism, he won't be the same person. And guess what? He's the same person whether he has or doesn't have autism. Now, the one thing that I did like in the episode was Smackle. I loved that Smackle, who's very much like me, does not like being touched unless it's someone that knows her, does not like, doesn't get the whole friend thing all the way. I mean, I get it. I want to have friends, but don't have a whole lot of them. And she's very smart, and I was very, very, very bright in school. I loved that she did have Aspergers, and I loved that everyone was okay with that. That scene warmed my heart. The rest of the episode I really felt was not a very good portrayal of autism spectrum disorder. I actually wish that they had redone the episode centering on Smackle, and I know they never would because she's a side character, but it would have made more sense. It would have been more accurate. And, I mean, she could have been talking about the testing that she had gone through and how weird it was and whatever else. And, there's so much they could have done to make it more realistic. And I know at this point this video is going on for a long time. So I'm just going to pretty much stop it here and say applause again for tackling the issue. I just wish it was more realistic. But I'm glad that they did bring autism spectrum disorder into the forefront. So, thanks for watching, and until next time, this is an Aspie's point of view.